Welcome back. Toronto's gun problem has been an issue for years, but it seemed to be slowly improving. So far this year, 32 people have been shot and killed in the provincial capital, but there were 3 murders in 2 separate shootings that frightened the public and focused attention on gun crimes more than any other shooting since Jane Kriba was caught in the crossfire on Yonge Street back on Boxing Day in 2005. Kriba was across the street from the Eaton Centre, and that was the scene of the first shocking shootout of the summer.
Center. With some gunshots. Head back, head back.
Shoppers poured out of the exits to the popular mall and tourist attraction on the first weekend of June. Inside one of the main food courts, which was crowded with people, shots suddenly rang out. 5 people were hit by bullets. One of them, 24-year-old Ahmed Hassan, was killed instantly. Toronto's police chief said Hassan had gang connections and knew his killer, but everyone else was caught in the crossfire. 2 days later, 24-year-old Christopher Husbands turned himself into police. He was charged with first-degree murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. At the time of the shooting, he was under house arrest, and 2 months earlier, he'd survived a violent attack where he was stabbed multiple times by gang rivals. Fast forward now 6 weeks, and the city was shocked again.
The crime that occurred in Scarborough yesterday was unprecedented for the city of Toronto.
After gunfire erupted at a Scarborough street party where there were more than 200 people were gathered on a scorching hot mid-July afternoon, 2 people were killed, 23 others injured. The victims were a 14-year-old girl, Cheyenne Charles, and 23-year-old Joshua Yasse. Both were innocent victims. The party carried on into the night, and it was just before 11 p.m. when it suddenly ended in a hail of bullets. Toronto's police chief, Bill Blair, committed to neighborhood residents and the wider city that those responsible would be caught and held accountable. Blair set up a new system of policing for the rest of the summer with more officers on the street looking for clues, but also trying to prevent a potential revenge shooting as investigators were convinced this was a gang attack. And slowly but surely, arrests happened. 3 months after Shaquan Bam Bam Mosquito was charged with threatening to cause serious bodily harm, police laid first-degree murder charges against him. He was a member of the Malvern Crew gang, and a few weeks later, rival Galloway Boys gang member 19-year-old Naam Tezgab, who was also previously charged in connection to the gunfight, had his charges upgraded. He's now facing 2 counts of second-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 22 counts of aggravated assault. In subsequent weeks, a 17-year-old boy was charged with murder, and a 16-year-old boy was charged for his alleged role in the shootout. Neither of them can be identified. Well, gun violence is a reality of life south of the border, sadly, and this year a series of deadly shooting sprees killed dozens of people. From a Colorado movie theater to a Portland shopping mall, bullets were fired at unsuspecting people. But a sickening spree at an elementary school late this year could become a tipping point in how the U.S. deals with guns.
I got 7 down in Theater 9. 7 down. I've got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of Theater 9 now.
Cell phone video posted to YouTube shows the absolute chaos as moviegoers scrambled to escape from a theater where a gunman went on a deadly spree.
He was just shooting people left and right.
15 minutes into the first screening of the latest Batman movie, a heavily armed gunman carried out what appeared to be a well-planned attack on an unsuspecting public. 12 people were killed, 58 injured. The suspected shooter is facing dozens of counts of first and second-degree murder. After meeting with the victims and families, President Obama discussed what he told them.
We are thinking about them at this moment, and we'll continue to think about them each and every day.
But that wasn't the only deadly spree this year. On December 11th, a mall full of shoppers in Portland, Oregon became a killing zone as a man wearing a mask and tactical gear calmly started spraying bullets from his semi-automatic rifle. Again, people panicked and feared the worst for those still inside.
I just want to hug her and I want her to get out.
In the end, 2 people died, 1 person was seriously injured, and the gunman turned the weapon on himself. Just days later, a massacre at a Connecticut elementary school stunned the world. Even the president seemed at a loss for words as he spoke in the hours after the horrific event.
They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own.
Like everyone else who'd watched what was going on at Sandy Hook Elementary that day, Obama was shocked. 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7 died. So did 6 members of the school's staff, and the shooter's mother was killed earlier in her home. The shooter took his own life before police could stop him. A painful week of mourning followed in the town as more than 24 funerals took place, many for young children. Now, the number of shootings and seriousness of the growing problem have some people talking about gun control as a possible legacy issue now for Barack Obama. because in early November he was re-elected to his second term. Now, despite leading the U.S. while it sank into its deepest financial hole since the 1930s, on Tuesday, November the 6th, Barack Obama was re-elected as President of the United States. After a grueling campaign, Obama easily defeated his Republican opponent, Mitt Romney. Beyond the gun problem, Obama's other pressing national issue is the fiscal cliff. And while talks continue as of this taping, there's been no deal reached at this point. Well, still to come on our look back at the biggest stories of 2012, the NHL hits an indefinite pause, Canada loses a legendary trailblazer, and the country is shocked by an alleged killer.